Hey, this is Freddie Thunder from NeonFly, and you're listening to Rhino Radio.
Subscribe.
Or of Rhino Radio here today, and through the magic of the internet, I am joined by Freddie of NeonFly. How are you doing today, Freddie?
I'm great, thanks. I'm great, happy to be here.
Well, thank you very much for joining me. We are kind of starting to celebrate the release of your upcoming album, The Future Tonight. It's out June 18th. And if
That's
I'm
right.
mistaken, it all started in the midst of 2019. There was a crowdfunding project, there were singles, there was lockdown, some band members left and came, and now you're also signed to a label. So
Mhm.
we're finally almost there. What's going through your head? What's the most important feeling that you're experiencing right now?
Well, I guess just the culmination of all this work, because it's actually been, I mean, as you said, 2019 was when we went, let's say, public with everything, and we released the crowdfunding and the singles and all that. But the writing process of this album has taken much longer. Actually, I started writing the album around 2015, 2016. So it's taken a very, very long time. So I definitely feel that like a massive weight has been lifted off my shoulders, being obviously the main songwriter of the band. That's a big responsibility, and it's been a huge amount of work. So I literally feel like this massive weight has been just lifted off my shoulders, and I can finally see the result of all this work and where it's taken us and where it's hopefully going to take us as well.
And I've listened to an interview with Will from a couple of weeks ago that
Mhm.
apparently his main concern was that you guys are finally not going to be labeled a power metal band. Is that a discussion? So
Uh,
finally.
yeah, well, I think with Willie, he's a guy that musically does not come from power metal or anything like that. He's more of a hard rock singer. I mean, he describes himself as a rock singer, and while he is okay with power metal and stuff, he's a lot of reviews in the past and stuff have definitely clearly said that he doesn't sound like a power metal singer, and that's right, because we didn't want him to sound like that. We didn't really tell him, oh, you have to sing differently, because you're in this kind of band now. But predominantly, the sound that we had on the first two albums was definitely influenced mainly by power metal and a few other things. But but with this album, we evolved as artists. Myself as a songwriter, I wanted to do something different, and I really wanted to make an album that would define NeonFly sounds and define what the band sounds like today and represents today, and hopefully, if the band's still around in 20 years, it's an album that people would go back to and say, this is one of the most important albums of the band, where they really define what they were. So in doing that, we stepped away from power metal, and I think that honestly I can pretty confidently say that this is not a power metal album. It's an album that power metal fans may like, and I think that there's enough material there that they can like, and certainly don't hate power metal or want to deny the fact that we used to be a power metal band, or I mean, I still love that kind of music. But the reality is that if you take that album and you were to review it as a power metal album, then that would make no sense, because it's not really a power metal album. We actually tried with this album to really create something unique. So I wouldn't really know how to label it, as a matter of fact, but yeah, I guess that's what Willie meant when he was saying that is essentially that we don't really want to be pigeonholed, and we don't want people to say, oh well, this is this, just listen to it and as an album of music, and enjoy it for what it is.
Well, I had listened to the album a few times already, and I have to say that I will probably say the words, this is one of my favorite tracks on a few tracks over our conversation. So don't catch me by that, just because it keeps on changing. I like this one, and then I like this one more, I like this one more, and then it just keeps on changing. So I've enjoyed so many of them, and it's great. And one of the first singles that came out, actually released about 2 years ago, This
Hmm.
World is Burning.
Yeah.
So it was released pre-COVID, and then we got
Hmm.
locked down. And I feel like this track maybe even intensified over the fact that we were locked down for about a year. So now that we're almost free to roam the world again, with that comment on the world burning, on what people are doing to each other, it's not a nice place to live in. Are you scared to go back outside now that we're almost free to interact with the world? I mean, not in the COVID sense of it, but like it's not
Yeah,
a
no,
nice place to come back to. We wanted to go back outside, and is it what we wish for now?
Uh, well, I'm not sure that it is. I mean, I think that there are still plenty of issues in the world, and that are probably going to resurface, because obviously, COVID being such a massive thing, it sort of ate everyone's attention, and sort of maybe buried a few other issues that were the main issues, before COVID happened. And I guess those issues haven't gone away. So when COVID goes away, I guess the world will have to learn to deal with each other, and there's so much political and social division, which is essentially what the song is about. And those issues are still going to be there, because I don't think that throughout COVID we've done anything that would mitigate the effects of all that. So I guess that is something that's still going to be out there. It's not something that scares me to go back into the world, let's say, but because it was already there before. And I think that on the contrary, I think we have to go out there and try to do something about it, rather than actually staying inside and just watching it all from our windows. So in that sense, I'd say I'm looking forward to going out there again, and just but it doesn't mean that it's all I think about. I mean, essentially, I just want to be happy, have a good time, and live in peace. So I mean, I'm not going to let these kind of issues sort of take over my life, even though they are important issues. And obviously, whenever there's an opportunity to do something about it, I'll definitely do. But it's not, like I don't let it consume all my life, even though I write about it, and maybe it gives the impression that, but essentially, I am happy to go back out there and to start enjoying, the things that we were able to enjoy before, just as much. So,
And
yeah.
another topic, another theme from the album is mental health. You touch on depression and addiction. Was wondering how, I mean, I know that you are one of the main lyricists of the band. I was wondering, how did you make it your own? And also, I was wondering if you have any tools, if you've dealt with any mental issues, any mental challenges. How did you accomplish, how did you go back to staying positive and just went above them?
Well, so this song is not autobiographical in that sense. The inspiration for the lyrics came mainly from my observations, being surrounded by people who have suffered from these issues, and having been very close to people who particularly, one of my best friends who has suffered from depression that led him to addiction for a long time, and I was very close to him when that happened. And I still, I know a lot of people who have suffered from different mental health issues, and so obviously it is something that I care about a lot, and that really matters to me, and not only people that I'm close to and that I know, but also it's something that it's become a very hot topic, because we have seen a lot of celebrities that sadly have taken their own lives due to what was revealed to be mental health issues, like people in the alternative scene, particularly like Chester Bennington, or the singer of The Prodigy, or just to name a few. And so not only is it a topic that affects people that are close to me, but also people that we may look up to as artists and stuff. So it's something that is everywhere, and it cannot be denied. And I think it's a conversation that we need to have, and that's what we wanted to do with this song. It's not It's basically just to raise awareness, to say that it's there, and to present it for what it is, because the song is not particularly positive, but we didn't want to make it, you know, we didn't want to lie about it. And I think that's an uncomfortable conversation for a lot of people, is that, you know, they expect that if you're going to talk about such topics, then there somehow has to be a story where there's a happy ending and somebody, you know, overcame his demons and stuff. But that's not always the case, and we have seen that, and I have seen that, you know, with my friends, and I didn't want to present it in a light-hearted way. You know, I wanted to talk about it as what it is, which is something that's not easy to deal with. It's something that, for the most part, stays with people for life, and just open up the conversation and raise awareness. So I think that was the main goal of the song when we wrote it. You know, that's what we wanted to sort of the message that we wanted to project.
And I want to take you to a more kind of global challenge. Obviously, all of us were locked down for about a year, and people funneled that spare time into different learning skills. Some learned languages, some funneled it into making more banana bread. I was wondering what was the thing that you gained from all that free time during the lockdown of 2020?
Well, the truth is, I did not have a lot of free time because, well, for one thing, I was able to keep working during all this time. So, and all the rest of the time I dedicated to the band, because with regards to the release and stuff, there's so much work that goes on behind the scenes that people cannot imagine how much I've had to do. So essentially, I've basically dedicated all my time to the band, and sometimes it's almost driven me crazy, to be honest. And I still am, you know. I mean, at the moment, for example, I'm when this call is over, I'm going to get back to working on a lyric video for our upcoming release, you know, because I do it myself. And there's plenty of other things, you know, that need to be done, and that take a lot of time, actually. So yeah. Funnily enough, the skills that I may have acquired are related to the band, because I actually I learned how to use Final Cut Pro, the video editing software, quite well, actually. So I was able to produce so much video content, which is good, because it means we don't have to spend money and pay somebody to do it, you know. But we do have to spend some time. So you know, it's a trade-off. Either you invest your money, or you invest your time. So well, in this case, we decided to invest our time. So I've actually, you know, learned how to use that, and yeah. So I mean, that is something I'm quite happy about, actually. That is definitely a skill that I'm happy to have acquired.
You've not made even one banana bread?
I have not, but my housemates have. So I have eaten banana bread.
Okay, then at least something good came out of 2020.
Yeah.
That's not music related, but we are going to enjoy the future tonight on June 18th. If you haven't enjoyed already the singles, I want to touch on two rumors, actually. They revolve around one of the singles that came out. It's actually a hidden track that will be on the album, the Venus cover.
Okay.
So I want you to either completely deny it and just destroy the rumor, or confirm it for the joy of fans around the world. So if people have not watched the video, there's one scene where Will is just flushed with a cup of water he was drinking. So the rumor was that he actually nailed it in one take, but because of you guys, you forced him to do it over and over again, just because you enjoyed watching him just drown in his own water.
The truth is, I would like to say that it's option number 2, that we wanted to. We certainly enjoyed it. He didn't nail it in one take, but he nailed it pretty quick. He only did it like 2 or 3 times, but that was enough to get all that footage on video, and make sure that we have enough to do a behind the scenes where he gets basically soaked in water about 20 times.
Okay, so
yeah,
we got it. And I want to move on to rumor number 2. Before Danny Devine confirmed that she's going to be part of the video, there were conversations about one of you taking the high heels. Is that true?
That is something you'll have to ask Willie about.
Okay, he was the runner-up.
Well, you'll have to ask him.
Okay, so now we have to set up a follow-up conversation to see about that, but it's not done yet. Okay. Before we say goodbye, I just want to talk about two collaborations that you had in the album. Beyond Street of Soul Work is on the album, and Khan of Heart of a Coward is in it. Both are on different great tracks, so they add a little bit of kind of aggressiveness to some of the tracks. I was wondering if that's something that the band was talking about doing in the future. Maybe one of you taking on the kind of the growling, the screamo side. If you're going to add that either on stage or in future recordings.
Yeah, well, actually, when it comes to that kind of vocals, Paul, our bass player, is the one who does that on stage. In the past, we've done a little bit of that. On our first album, we had a track called Morning Star, where we had a guest singer, Fabio from Artemis. Now, he's not a growler, but he sort of did a sort of dark, whispered type of voice. And on stage, that translated into Paul doing it with growling. So every time we played Morning Star, Paul did that bit, and he did it with the growling vocals, and people always love that when we played that song. It's actually the closer of our set, because it always works really well live, and so people always loved when we did that. And on the second album, we didn't add any growling vocals or anything like that, but on this album, we felt like we really wanted to go in that direction and add a bit of that. And I guess to make it more, I mean, I suppose we could have tried to get Paul to record some of those, but to make it more exciting, we thought it'd be great to have collabs with singers from other bands and stuff. So on the record, we wanted to try and get Björn and Khan to do that. But live, it's definitely going to be Paul, unless we're at a festival and somehow we manage to convince Björn or someone to come and do it, which would be great. But failing that, it's going to be Paul doing that. And in future albums, I think there'll definitely be more growling vocals in the same way. We're not gonna. I mean, Willie's obviously gonna still be the main singer of the band, and that's not gonna change. But yeah, there'll probably be more features like that, and possibly with other guest singers, or maybe we'll get Paul to do some. I guess we haven't really got that far yet, but I can definitely say that there'll be a bit more growling probably on our next albums.
I love how we talked about singing loudly, and we got some growling from one of your neighbors in the background as well.
Yeah, so that's the dog, actually. It's the neighbor's dog. Yeah.
Good timing, though. So as I said, I've really enjoyed listening to The Future tonight. As I said, every track became my new favorite, and then it played on repeat again, and it all reshuffled again. So I cannot wait for the world to enjoy as it comes out tomorrow, June 18th. Before we say goodbye, is there anything else you want to add to fans and listeners out there?
Well, yeah, just check out the album. I hope you enjoy it, and yeah, and I'm glad you enjoyed it as well. Yeah, thank you for that. And yeah, just pick up a copy, and you won't regret it.
Freddie of NeonFly, thank you very much for joining me and sharing your music with the world. It's been a pleasure.
All right, thanks to you, man. All right, take care.
Subscribe. Subscribe.